Arsenal come streaming forward now in surely what will be their last attack. A good ball by Dixon, finding Smith. But Thomas charging through the midfield. Thomas, it's up for grabs now. Thomas, right at the
end. Hello and welcome to Gooners in the USA. Mike?
Yes.
We're a day away from the season starting. How are you?
Does the season technically start tomorrow or on Friday?
I think that we can say it starts.
Yeah, I think that suits our needs.
The excitement levels are there, right?
The excitement levels are here. And speaking of excitement, I'm getting ready for a trip to Chicago tomorrow. But fuck that. You are heading out tomorrow to the homeland, to the motherland.
I am. I'm taking the little boy home to meet the family officially and see the country, see the old country.
Nice. And you'll be meeting some of the fellow gits and friends that we have over there.
I will, and two of those fellow gits are on the podcast today.
That's right, and my apologies. We use git as a affectionate term. I realize it doesn't always mean that, but we do have two guests joining us today, and one of them is joining us for the first time, very far, long overdue, and it is Ola. Ola.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for listening, and excited to have you on.
Yeah, it's definitely been long overdue. I've been waiting for this invite for quite some time, but yeah, I'm very happy to be here, very honored to be here, and can't wait to get the show on the road.
Well, that'll wear off quickly, but yet you never bugged us to come on. I appreciate that. Now, Ola is the Twitter handle is at Black Scorpion 3. Black is BLAK Scorpion 3, and he is the founder and superstar of Capital Scorpions TV on YouTube, which is a channel where you share your views on the Arsenal and kind of game recaps. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's right. It's a new channel. It's just something where I go on to, explain or put out my views and what's going on with our club, certain things that we don't agree with as fans, and just sharing the views out there. And it's a new one, and I'm just trying to grow it from the bottom up, and hopefully as the season progresses, I'll put out more contents on it, and just get the general consensus of the Arsenal fans out there to get on it and try help us grow it. So yeah, it's something that I'm passionate about, and just want to keep working on it to make it better.
Well, definitely. Love when people put their views out there, and there's nothing better than the floral wallpaper background that you have behind you for most of the podcast. After the first couple, I was just hypnotized, and I believe and follow everything that you say. So that was well done with that.
Your attention to detail is outstanding, shall I say?
And the last thing is, I loved your explanation when we were sitting in the pub outside of Selhurst Park last year about how you came up with your Twitter handle. I mean, I assumed it was like some complicated inside story, but do you remember what you told me?
Oh yeah, it's a funny one. Most people always think it's something to do with some dangerous. I don't know why they think that, but it's just my star sign and the fact that I'm black. So Black Scorpion, it made sense to me at the time when I put the Twitter handle together. I've been going with it since.
I'm a Scorpio. That's my zodiac, and I'm black, which I could tell because I was sitting right next to him at the time. And it was fantastic. And I guess Black Scorpion 1 and 2 were taken, but. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Ola,
that's exactly how it went down.
We met last year when I was in London. I had the chance to hang out with you and our friend Tom Canton and Lee Judges before West Ham that fateful Crystal Palace game. And Andy gets a chance to do that this week. But speaking of Lee, are you there?
I am. Thanks for having us on, Mike. How are you? All right?
We're hanging in there. Andy, you doing okay? Lee wants to know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what the audio problem is on my end.
Well, that's all right. Last time we spoke to Lee on the pod, he was still buzzing from the Chelsea defeat in the FA Cup. I gather from what I've seen of you recently, Lee, that buzz has worn off. It took a couple months, but it seems like you're no longer on cloud 9 at the moment. But
no, certainly not on cloud 9. There's the same old
things that go with Arsenal. It's just, I did honestly believe that after the FA Cup win and Arsene Wenger signed a new contract, there would be and obviously us coming fifth in the league, I did feel that there would be some real major changes, and in the transfer market, some things really done. But unfortunately, it's the same old Arsenal. It's every season it's the same, and nothing's going to change. And I have to say, I'm very angry because I feel I'm being taken for a ride every year. I get my hopes up, and they take them away from me. And unfortunately, this season, I'm not really looking forward to it because you know exactly what's going to come.
Yeah.
As you know, Mike, the Crystal Palace game wasn't very good.
That's a good way of putting it.
Put it mildly, it wasn't very good.
When my dad passed away, that wasn't very good either.
It's bad as that. And, you know, we know, and I know that after seeing nothing's been improved on our defensive strategies, that we've got a few of them coming up next season, guaranteed. So it's very, very disappointing.
Well, it should come as no surprise that you and our friend Craig Scott did not name the podcast "Looking Forward to the New Season and the Changes." You named it "Same Old Arsenal."
Yeah, I'll give Craig a lot of credit for that, for doing that, and because it's so appropriate, and it's it is the same old Arsenal, and it's not going to change. I think going back years ago, I think that the same old Arsenal was sort of seen as a nice thing, you know, because it was. But now it's depressing, really. It's the depressing Arsenal, really. That's what it is. So
well, let's hope for something different this year. But I can't blame you for feeling that way. So yeah, you can catch Lee on the Same Old Arsenal podcast, which you guys are now doing live on YouTube, so we get to see your beautiful faces. And and Lee's also on our friend Tom's Gooner Talk TV podcast, and probably like 45 to 50 other multimedia appearances and autograph sessions every week. So now. By the way, I'm watching ESPN right now, and fucking Spurs are about to kick off a game against Tottenham at Wembley the day before the Community Shield. What the fuck?
Who are they playing?
They're playing Juve in front of literally 8,000 people at Wembley right now. I mean, the whole top tier is open, most of the bottom tier is open, and they're about to tear up the pitch for our game tomorrow, which is bullshit.
That's scandalous, isn't it? Like, you know, so
I mean, I know that's their new home.
It's their home, yeah. So,
well, it's our home, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I made a point of it earlier on, you know, about christening their ground before they even get to do anything on it competitively, anyway. So, hopefully,
we should do that tomorrow.
We'll get to do that tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
So, Andy, we got a season to preview here.
We do have a season to preview, Mike, and you know, don't want to spend too much time with the transfer discussions, but as Lee kind of mentioned, we started off really good with Kalashnikov, and now Lagazette, and we're just, you know, it's just so frustrating because we keep hearing all of these rumors about Lamar, we keep hearing about rumors about Cersei and her dragons. And it's just, we're doing nothing.
Jean-Michel Cersei.
Nothing. Yeah. And so it's so frustrating to see that, you know, we're a center midfielder away again. And I don't want to place let's put all of our eggs in the Jack Wilshere bucket because he's so injury prone. And it's just, what are we going to, like, at this point, lads, where do we see our season going if we just went into the season with just this squad? Because I kind of echo Lee. I feel like we're being kind of taken as fools. And I'll go to Lee because I know he'll probably be the most passionate out of all of us. But where are we failing in the transfer market, Lee?
Well, the transfer market, as far as I'm concerned, is a big disappointment again. And we've not strengthened in the areas that we need to again. The manager divers over like 2 million, 3 million here, and then we lose out to these players again. And I actually see ourselves at this moment in time. If the season starts now, I see us coming sixth in the league.
Mm-hmm.
at best.
I think we could knock Manchester United out of that spot.
No, I think Manchester United, this is what annoys me about things, is that Manchester United come below us last season and have spent 160, 170 million so far. We've spent 45 million. We don't really know how much Lacazette costs, but we've obviously spent the money on Lacazette, but then we've sold Chesney already. So what has been done to address all the problems of last season? The only thing that we've done this season and done in time is sign up our new manager, which unfortunately is our old manager. You know what I mean? And he's
got all the time he needs to bed into the team.
Yeah, he signed another 2-year contract, and as good as deal was. This is what really infuriates me: is that it's at a level of every other. If Arsene Wenger's contract is as good, if not, it's probably in the top 3 for all in the world. You know what I mean? So we compete with the manager at that level. But when it comes to all the transfers, targets, players' wages, and that, we're well down the pecking order. But isn't it funny that our manager is on as the best money that he possibly can get? Yeah. And that's what really infuriates me. And when you look at it, we're still paying big money out to go to the games, and we're not competing. You're telling me that we can only spend 40 million pound in the transfer, and all this stuff about which the one thing that's getting on my goat now, guys, is that they're haggling again over 5 million. Listen, I don't give. It's like Lamar is at Monaco. Let's just take it from their point of view, that they don't want to sell him. He's one of their best players. It's like coming in and saying, so let's say, with Sanchez, for instance. So someone like Man City comes up to us and says, we want to buy Sanchez. We'll give you 20 million for him. What is our answer going to be? It's going to be no, go away. If they come in with 80 million, it's going to make us think. So they don't want to sell Lamar because he's one of their best players, prospects and whatever. Oh, so let's skinflint on him and try and get him for 45 million. We obviously, there's some sort of dialogue where the player has said that he wants to come. So we're trying to screw over Monaco as best we can. So we're haggling over £5 million, and then we're prepared to let £150 million go in the summer if we let Sanchez, Ozil, and Chamberlain's contracts run down. And then where is the logic in that? Can someone explain to me where the logic is in that?
We should get a manager that has some sort of economics background or something.
Yeah, because I don't think you need that, Mike.
Well, that's good because he's got one and it's not helpful.
No, my maths ain't the greatest, but I look at that and I think to myself, well, that ain't good enough. But somebody at the club is allowing that to happen, and it just seems to be like we're going from one car crash to another, guys. It really does, you know what I mean?
I actually happen to believe that we're going to bring in one more player before the deadline, but the issue is, it's going to be right before the deadline, and we've seen over and over again that it just holds the team back to be adding pieces, no matter how good the pieces are, when you're already 3 games into the season.
I completely agree, and we can beat this on the head forever, but let's go to Ola. I'll go to you here. What are your thoughts about players leaving the club? We keep hearing rumors about Debussy, Jenko, Lucas, Theo, Gibbs.
I'm the one starting the Theo rumors, but
well, we all started the Theo, but there are some. What frustrates me is the amount of people on Twitter who think that they know the Arsenal ins and outs of we have to sell players before we can bring new ones in. But Ola, give me your opinion on those players that are probably not in the starting 11. They would go, like Gibbs, for example, would probably go to 10 other Premier League clubs and be in their starting 11.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those players going out? Do you believe that we have to sell for us to bring someone new in?
No, I actually don't think we've got to sell to get someone in, to get players in. I think, if the manager's really got the authority that we all think he has, because we all believe, Wenger runs everything in that club, and they're all going about how they respect this manager and is like a father to them and stuff like that. Then obviously I'm sure if he wants them to leave the club in no certain means, they will, as we've seen with.
He's like a father to them because he just gives them money that they don't deserve. I
He
mean,
gives them right. So that was
they're
the
all on
point that I
such
was
high
trying to get
wage
to.
packets. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's the point I was trying to get to, because all these players now, for me, they're making a living at the club. These are players that hasn't been doing fuck all at the club for such a long period of time, and they're taking big wages out of the club. I've never seen where we've got someone that hasn't been involved in a whole season taking 60,000-70,000 a week out of the club, and you look across the road at Tottenham, and they got someone like Christian Eriksen on 60 grand a week, and he's put everything into their season to try and make their season as good as they had it last season. So, to me, that's not just nicking a living, but nicking money out of the fans as well, because obviously we as fans are paying fans, people that subscribe to the channels to watch them on TV, people that go to games, people that travel home and away, like Lee, to all these matches, and they do nothing to warrant the amount of money that they earn. And when you try to get them out of the club, they're not budging. They're not looking to move because no one else will pay the wages, and they're not willing to take a pay cut to leave the club. So they'll rather run down their contract and live for nothing while they take money away from the club. And also not just money, but spaces in the 25 man squad that we're supposed to have going into the new season. So they're going to be taking away from that. They're going to be taking wages that that could be freed up in the wage structure. And when you look at all of that, there's only one man to blame here for me, and that's Arsene Wenger. He's let all of this happen. He's let the contract situation get to how it's got to, and we are where we are, where there's no middle ground now between the players and the club, because nobody wants to meet in the middle in terms of finding a resolution to the problem that we have, which is overpaid players, overpaid players that does nothing for the club. So
I think we just need to clear some of these guys out, regardless of the losses that we take. Pay some of their wages at their new club, and just make room, and that way when we.
But Mike,
yeah,
this is the problem.
Tottenham
How
just
are we
scored.
going to?
Fucking Harry Kane just scored against Juventus.
Right, this is the problem. This is the problem I have. Right, how can we pay off these guys to leave the club if we're not willing to pay the players that we need to come into the club? Because I don't believe we need to sell these guys to move them on. I'll just drop their ass in the under 23s and the under 18s if need be. If the club is really going to take bullets for keeping the players at the club, then drop them in the under 23 squad and bring in the right people, the right personnel that we need to challenge and advance and improve our season from the season that we had last season. But I think the season we had last season, it was so poor that some of the players that we had that went in the squad at the time, they probably could have contributed to some of the players that we had injured. But we were bringing in people like Maitland-Niles when we got players like Jenkinson and Debuchy in the squad. But we're bringing in people like Maitland-Niles to come and deputize for Bellerin when he was injured and when Ox was injured. So, I don't think it's right. And yeah, everything lands on Arsene Wenger's doorstep, I'm afraid. And, he's got to find a way, because the only contract, like you said, that's been sorted out is his contract. Yeah. No one else's contract is sorted out. And it's a lot of money, because he's actually got a pay rise out of it as well.
I think we need to put some blame on Dick Law, but the reason I think that is because I just wanted to say Dick Law in the podcast. It's a rule that I have to do that once every podcast. So, but as far as he might actually have something to do with these negotiations, but he's the worst. All right, moving on. Alexis, I keep saying I hate talking about Alexis because I don't know what to think. But this week he comes onto the pitch. He's standing next to Mesut Ozil, kissing his badge, like overtly for the cameras. I don't understand his mixed messages. I mean, he's like so annoying with that. I mean, he just doesn't come out and say something. I mean, at this point, I don't believe anything he does, like visually or sends out on Instagram. He could kiss the badge. He could make out with the badge. He could tattoo a copy of the badge on Humber. he could cut a hole in the middle of the goddamn badge and have actual sex with the fucking thing. And I still wouldn't know whether that means he wants to stay or whether he wants to go. I mean,
I'm gonna liken Alexis Sanchez to Donald Trump right now. He will do anything to get into the press.
Yeah,
and
except
for me,
except for actually come out with a straightforward comment about what he wants to do.
Well, I don't think he'll do that, Mike, because he wants to leave. And so if he comes out and says that in the press, it fucks everything up for the club, for himself. And I think Arsen's probably said to him, don't say anything. And Arsen didn't he make a comment this week that Sanchez is going to respect their decision and their decision will be to keep him?
Yeah.
And so,
but if he wants to leave, why is he walking out on the field making a big deal about kissing his badge?
Because he knows it's going to get discussed on Gooners and USA podcast.
Exactly. I don't know. I think Lee, do you think he needs to? I mean, not that he will, but I don't expect him to come out and say he's re-signing if he hasn't re-signed, even if he wanted to. That's not good negotiation. But I mean, either say I'm here against my will, which of course he also wouldn't say, or say, I respect my contract, I'm playing out the season, and we'll see what happens. I mean, does he need to come out and say anything, or are you okay with this, Lee?
Well, I think personally what's happened is he's been offered a new contract and he's turned it down and said no, but he's happy to see out his contract. Now, that from the player's point of view, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think he needs to say nothing. What I'm a bit against, don't get me wrong, I love Alexis Sanchez and everything that he does for Arsenal, but for him to come out and start kissing the badge and that, it's just been taking it a little bit too far. I don't think he needs to do that.
Like unless you mean that, don't fucking do it.
Don't do it. Yeah, exactly. And I feel that's taking. Do you remember he was in a press conference when he was laughing and joking about I know what I'm going to do and
at the Confederations Cup, I think that.
Yeah, I think that if he's going to leave, I think he's starting to take the mickey out of us, and I don't really want that to happen. I think that what he said and what I led to believe what everything he's saying. He said, I've told Arsenal my decision. I think that decision is that he's not prepared to sign a new contract. So it's up to Arsenal what they do. That they either sell him now or let him go at the end of his contract. Arsenal was saying what we believe to say is that they're going to let him stay out his contracts, and I think he's happy to do that. Why wouldn't he be? Because he's going to be 29 years of age next season, and he's going to sign a bumper deal because he's worth £30-odd million. He's going to get that money himself. So
if it's on a free, Neymar's dad's going to get like half of it.
So from his point of view, financially, why would you want to sign the deal financially? Because next season he's going to demand the fee himself, like Sol Campbell did all those years ago. So whatever way you look at it, he's laughing, and this is because Arsenal continually get things wrong on contracts. Again, you don't have to allowed him to get down to 1 year. Not only him, by the way, all the others as well. But why wouldn't you? He's from a point of view of a contract. Is he doing anything wrong? No, he's not. He's got a contract for 4 years. He's seeing it out. And that is the problem.
No, nothing wrong with what he's doing contractually. No. It's the public relations, which was the root of the question. It's the willy won't-y. What does he actually want? What can you believe? Is his comments about wanting to play in the Champions League this year, is that just clickbait from the press, or has he actually come out and said that? That's why I think it'd be nice if he just makes a comment and said, "Look, I'm here for this year, and I'm dedicated to this team for this year." And I would accept that.
I would love him to do that, and then instead of kissing the badge and all that sort of stuff, I think it's just being a little bit. I think that you've got to be in mind of the fans.
Don't kiss the badge. I mean, cuddle it maybe a little bit if you need to, but don't kiss it.
I think it was Was it at Stoke last season? He started saying that he'd done another thing to say, look, he looked like he was wanting to stay, and everybody was getting on the bandwagon.
Yeah, it was pointing to the ground after he scored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm staying, sort of thing, you know. So, I don't want to start thinking to myself and start disrespecting Sanchez. You know what I mean? But if that's how he feels, and he's starting to take the piss out of us, then I'd rather see him gone.
Yeah,
Now,
and if we happen to come out strong and Lacazette, Ozil, and Sanchez are firing, you know, and we get off to a good start, and perhaps we've added Lamar at the deadline, whatever we will or want to have done. Things start out well in the first 3 or 4 months, and he doesn't, and we get closer to that January time period, and he doesn't address whether he's happy now or not. Then is where I think people are just going to turn on him completely.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't want that. You don't really want that, though, Mike, do you?
That'll screw the whole season up.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the problem, you know what I mean? You don't want to... We could be... And I sort of said this before, in January, we could be, which we normally are, quite high up at the table, and then, you know, it all goes wrong in January anyway. But if it comes to January, he could go and talk to PSG, or he can't actually talk to Man City.
But he could talk to Bayern.
But he
and PSG.
could talk to other teams like that. Is his head going to be all right by then? You know, and that's the problem that we've got. You know, it's not really. Oh yeah, he's going to stay to the end of the season and really put it in. That's my worry and my big concern about it. Like, you know, but listen, I think it'd be fantastic if he starts kissing the badge, and then on Friday before the game they announce that he signed a new 4-year deal. I'll be more than delighted. You know, and he can go and kiss my arse if he wants. You know what I mean? And I'll be happy with it. Like, you know, so that's how I feel.
Is anyone else?
By the way, we need a meme of that of Alexis Sanchez kissing Lee Judge's ass.
Well, I'll kiss his as well, like if he does it as well, like always.
So 2 weeks ago, when the squad were in China and Australia, Ozil came out and said that he wants to sign a new contract when he gets back to London, and he would like to stay. Why hasn't that been announced? Why hasn't that been taken care of?
I think Ozil has been he's been the best chameleon I've ever come across. You know, whilst all this commotion, this whole kerfuffle is going on with Alexis and Oxlade, nobody is saying anything about Ozil. He hasn't signed the contract yet. He's not kissing any badges. Right, he's right next to Alexis. When Alexis was kissing the badge, he could have grabbed the badge himself and kissed it while Alexis was doing it.
Would have been like a little porn movie coming out of the pitch.
You know, but he's not doing that, and he's trying to stay away from the press. And when the press comes along, he's saying all the right things, but not doing the right things, just saying the right things. And when you look at Ozil, I still think Ozil wants to, you know, he wants to be here. I think he just wants to maximize whatever offer he can get out of the club.
And that might have something about what happens between now and the end of the transfer window too. Not as to whether he signs, but exactly how the contract's structured.
Absolutely.
Depending on who we can get rid of, because, you know, he's pushing everyone out the door to make more room in the wage budget for his salary right now. He'd like to see Jenkinson go. He'd like to see Gibbo go to free up his wages.
Guys, that could be a great point, though, because obviously he's going to be signing a contract, as well as Alexis Sanchez, if we be honest about it. They're going to be very, very high up. And maybe that they've got to keep on the wages they are at the moment until they get these guys off. You know what I mean? So
get the guys off. I mean, I've never been so excited to see guys be gotten off before.
No, but obviously, like, you know, you can imagine in the dressing room, like Ozil saying to Jet, hurry up and piss off. I ain't getting my rights yet. You know what I mean? So it's just all a little bit comical, but that could be a reason why that they've not announced or they're prepared to sign those deals, because obviously there is that fair play on wages saying, isn't it? Like, you know, so.
Yeah, we've seen how strong that rule is.
Yeah, exactly.
So we want to do we want to try to make some predictions here for the. We did this in our first ever podcast that like 4 people have literally ever listened to before, and 3 of them were on the podcast. It was me, Andy, and our friend George. We predicted the top 4 and the bottom 3, and I think we did all right. We never really bothered recapping it, but we got some pretty close. But at this point, I mean, top 4 is just freaking impossible to select, but we're going to try to do it anyway. So
we should try and do it, Mike. We should. And so, how do you want to do it? Do you want to go top 4, top 3? Let's go top 4, since those are the Champions League spots.
Top 4 and bottom 3.
We'll do top 4 and bottom 3.
And then you have to do the other 13 in order after that.
We'll give Lee and Ola a minute to think. So, Mike, what are your predictions for top 4? We'll go all top 4, and then each of us will do our top 3.
Okay. I mean, this is impossible. But as much as I've been saying that for some reason I'm not all that fearful of City, even though they've signed $900 million pounds worth of players. I do have them coming in first. I mean, it's that second year thing. Mourinho always wins in the second year. Pep always wins in his. Well, I think Pep will probably win in his second year. So I've got City in first. I still think Chelsea's probably got second. Just such a quality manager in Conte right now. They haven't necessarily massively spent on their squad, surprisingly this summer, but I think that they'll be fine. I hate to say, but I think United probably gets into third. Moving off of the 6th place that they spent all of last year in. And I'm going to go with Everton in 4th. I think the other 3, I mean, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Spurs are just such, I mean, in a jumble that I'm just going to say Everton's going to pip all 3 of them to 4th place, and I'll probably look foolish there, but that's my top 4. Andy, what do you think?
Okay. It's a great question. I am going to go. I'm going to echo you. I think that City are the team to beat. I think that he's done enough to cement a really, really good team, and definitely that defense. And so I'm going to go City in first. Second, I'm going to go United, and the reason why I think that Mourinho will get them into a good style, have a good funk, and then he'll fuck them up next season, as he typically does in his 3rd year.
Yeah, I mean there can't be 2 second-year winners this year, so it's got to be one or the other.
Yeah, third I'm going to go Chelsea. And then 4th, I'll go with Liverpool.
Wow.
But Liverpool, man, preseason they look good.
Well, everybody looked good against Bayern Munich in the preseason. I mean, you can't just
That's
base
true.
it off of even we beat them, but kind of. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. But all right, top 4. Lee, what do you got?
I've got Manchester City first. I think last season they was the one thing that they was weak on was fullbacks, and they've improved on that with what they've got. I'm going to go Manchester United second. I think again money talks, and they've spent well on what they've done. I've gone Chelsea third. The reason I've gone Chelsea third is they're going to be without Hazard for a little while, and also I'm not too sure it's going to take. It's going to take Morata a little while to bed in, and there's obviously like a few little problems with Costa, and they were a big two with it for them last season, Costa and Hazard, and to not have them as sort of about for the first month may affect their title chances. Don't think it'll affect their top 4, but their title chances. And unfortunately, I think that they were the best team for a lot of last season. And that's Tottenham. I can't see
even playing at Wembley the whole year, which apparently isn't hurting them today. But
no, that's a myth. You know, they were outstanding last season at home, as we all know. But I don't think that. I think they've got a very, very good settled team. I can't see too many weaknesses in that. And because it's at Wembley, everybody's sort of like writing them off, and I don't think we should do that. So I'm going for them for 4th. I think Liverpool will be 5th, and as I said, we're coming 6th. That's how I predict it. But I think it'd be tough. I think Liverpool will be very much giving it a run for their money, because as Andy said, they were very. I know it's only pre-season, but I have been impressed by them, to be honest.
Excellent. And Ola, what do you think? Top 4.
I'm going with Man City.
Unanimous.
Yeah, so I think we're not pretty unanimous on that one. The amount of the business that they've done and the pressure that Pep is under is going to be significantly more than his first season. And for me, I think Pep will probably, is a manager that thrives under pressure. So, it's a different pressure in the Premier League, and I think he's seen firsthand what it's like, and he's going to be a little bit more prepared for it this time than it was the last time, because acknowledging his mistake and going to shed out a whole load of money on the goalkeeper, it lets you know that he's a manager that learns from his mistake, not like the manager that we got. So I'm going with Pep. I'm going with Pep to win the title. Mourinho second with Manchester United.
Okay.
I think they've done reasonably good business. They're still hunting for more. And if it's to be believed that the type of players that they're looking for, if they manage to get them, and I wouldn't rule them out, to get the caliber of players that they're talking about in Bale and Perisic and those type of guys, I wouldn't rule it out. So I think they're gonna be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. Going with, this is where I get controversial. I'm going with Arsenal. In third place.
There you go. I was waiting for somebody to do it. I wasn't going to do it, but I was waiting for somebody.
Well, I'm going to take the bullet for everybody else. So I'm going with Arsenal in third place. I think we've still got a settled squad, and if we find a way to learn from the mistakes that we did last season, I think we could be there or thereabout if we fuck off the Europa League as early as possible. And then that, from listening to what Wenger said in his press conference the other day, I think he said he's looking to focus solely on the Premier League. So if that's the case, then I can see us being up there or thereabout. We still don't know what's going to happen before the window's shut. I'd like the business to be done a little bit earlier than usual, but if we do the business right and we get the right person that we're looking to bring in, for me, it's a centre back and a midfielder. If we can get those two done, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be there or thereabouts. So I'm going with Chelsea in fourth place. I think Conte's second season, he had a very, very good first season without Europe last season. He was riding high. Four of the people that was very, very integral in him winning the league, they're not there anymore, which is Costa. There's no Hazard for good start of the season, and they brought in players like Morata and Bakayoko, who's relatively new to the league, so they might need, if they don't hit the ground running. I personally don't think Conte will finish this season in the Premier League. I think at some point he might get sacked.
Hey, prediction.
Yes. This isn't the first time we're going to hear something like that. You just stole my thunder a little bit, but I love
Sorry.
it. I love it. It's a strong take.
I don't think Conte will finish this season in the Premier League. So we'll see about that. And I've got Chelsea in fourth place. So that's my top four.
All right.
I'm going to make a prediction too, Mike.
Yeah.
I say, and I'm not doing
about me, probably.
No. I think Arsenal go unbeaten the first 7 games.
First 7, including Liverpool away.
Including Leicester opening game.
Yep.
Okay.
I think we go unbeaten the first 7 games.
If we do that, and Alexis doesn't sign his contract, right before we start the losing streak, then it's all over for me.
Yeah.
All over.
Sorry, lads, I've just fallen off my chair. I'll come back up there. Chelsea away and Liverpool away in those first 7 games, and we're going to stay unbeaten.
Yeah. Now he said it. He has to stick to it. But yeah.
No, I'm sticking to it.
Did I remind you
that
you have to wear a helmet when you do this podcast, because you're going to fall off your chair. All right. So bottom 3. I'm gonna come out with mine and just say I think Leicester is gonna get relegated this year. Last season, our friend George actually picked them as a relegation, and for a while, his pick was looking awfully good, and that was fresh off of their title. But I haven't seen them add a whole lot of great new pieces, and it just seems like there's more and more instability. So I think they may be the one that finishes 18th this season and goes down. Huddersfield, I think, will be the team that was promoted that's going to head back down. Although they did make a very interesting signing, a left back named Scott Malone, who I've watched a couple times at Fulham, and caught my eye as because I'm such an incredible football mind and scout. He looked fantastic, and I figured he'd get picked up by a Premier League team, and he was. So if he can carry them to 17th, then I'll be wrong. But Huddersfield and Burnley, I just really haven't heard much of them other than selling their best player, and so I think their time is up. So Leicester, Huddersfield, and Burnley go down, in my opinion. Andy, what do you think?
2 out of the 3, I'm going to go the same, Mike. I think Huddersfield go down. I think Burnley go down. And then I think there's going to be, like last season, there's going to be a couple teams that are going to play with that last spot. But I'm going to go with Watford.
That was in consideration for me as well, actually.
Yeah. And I think that Brighton have just flirted with the Premier League for quite some time. They've got good management, good coaching.
It'd be a shame if they go back down.
I think they'll stay up. I really do.
Lee, what do you think for the bottom 5? Bottom 3?
Well, what after Mike said about his 7 unbeaten run,
That was Andy.
Oh, sorry, Andy.
Mike said it.
Don't blame that on me.
Well, after that statement, I'm going Manchester United, Manchester City, and Chelsea are all going to get relegated.
Our next podcast, Andy's going to start like, I'm sorry.
I can't believe that, Andy. I can't believe that.
Lee and Ola, we win next Friday. The pints are on you after
the
match.
I'm not so worried about the Leicester game, even though I don't think we'll win it. But I think that you've obviously not been to Chelsea a few times. It's painful there, I tell you.
Besides, Ola doesn't drink beer. He has that weird orange soda thing that what was that called?
I would be getting shit-faced, mate, when I get there.
That's true. Friday night versus Wednesday night is 2 different things.
Oh, yeah.
I've got Huddersfield. Unfortunately, I've got Huddersfield. I think most people are going to have Huddersfield to go down. I think,
I think we'll be unanimous on that one.
I think that'll be there. I've also, I also think I'm going to think about Swansea. I don't think.
Oh, you just told, man.
That's a good call.
I just don't think that they've done enough. I don't think that Sigurdsson will be there come the end of the season. So I think that would probably be a give me there. And I think there's always one that could be,
Everton.
No, I don't think it'd be Everton. I think the other. I've got. I don't want to say it, but I think that they've always started off pretty well, and then they've dropped to like a.
Can I guess?
Balloon. Go on, then.
Palace.
No, not Palace. I think Palace would be all right. I've gone for Bournemouth. I've got a feeling that they always start if they don't get off to a good start, that they might struggle. They always sort of drop down. So that's the 3 that I've gone for.
Yeah, I picked them to go down last season, and then like 2 days later they signed Jack on a free.
I don't want them to go down. I'd love Spurs to go down, but I don't think that's going to.
It's a nice trip to Bournemouth, isn't it?
It's a beautiful ground. It's really you're right close to the play. You actually, when they're doing the warm up and that, you can actually touch the players and all that, and you can talk to them. It's unbelievable.
You're saying, like, logistically speaking, you could touch the players, or are you saying that they allow you to touch the players if you want?
I will try and kiss Sanchez's arse if he's playing. Yeah, you can actually. They're right that close that you can actually. You can hear them say hello to you and whatever. It's very, very difficult to get tickets for that game, but it's a great experience because you don't really get that close to the Arsenal players on any other occasion. So that's the real reason why you don't want them to go down. But and it's just a really good atmosphere there, and I do like Bournemouth. It's unfortunately every time we go there, we're playing it. I think we're again there in January again. It's not a very nice, whenever. Be nice to go down there in August, wouldn't it? But
that's true. Well,
Yeah.
before we go to Ola, I just realized Juventus obviously has Buffon in net for this game in the first half. I'm wondering whether we're going to see Chesney come out in the second half at
Oh,
Wembley to play against
It's got, hasn't it?
Spurs. I mean that'd be kind of interesting to watch. See if he
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, I'm actually watching it as well.
and if he still has any love for Arsenal, he could do some things in the second half of this game that might help us. That's all I'm
like
going to say.
like damage Hurricane.
That's all, that's disgusting, Ola. But that's all I'm going to say is he could do some things that could help us. And I ain't talking about smoking in the locker room. So, Ola, the bottom three.
Right. I'm gonna go with Huddersfield as well. I think even though the manager is supposed to be tactical and all that, I think they said he worked with Jurgen Klopp back in the day or something like that. I still think they don't have enough for the Premier League, so I think Huddersfield's going to be going down. Brighton as well. I'm looking at Brighton and Chris Hutton. Every time he's brought a team to the Premier League, it's never stayed the course. They've always found a way to fire him. So I don't think it's going to last the whole season as well. Chris Hutton, they're always sacking every time he's brought a team to the Premier League, and he's eventually been the downfall of that team that is brought up. So I think Brighton will be going down for that reason. And this is one that I'm just wishing it happens because they flirted with the last season. They weren't winning games, and that's Stoke City. I think it's one team that I don't want to be facing them in the Premier League. So if they went the way, if they play the way they played last season, this season, I think they could be messing with relegation. So I think that Stoke would be the third one for me. So they've lost Anatovic now, and they've sold Walters. They've not really done or brought in any players
How
in
great
the
would that
window.
be? How great would that be for their long reign of terror to finally end? I mean, enough with those guys already.
I've had enough of them.
Exactly. All right,
I can't stand them.
We will, unlike last season where we did the top four and bottom three, and honestly didn't even know if we'd be doing a podcast the following week. We will revisit these later in the year. Maybe we'll do a year in review and bring you guys back on to do that.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic.
And we'll see how foolish we look at that time. But money talks, because we've all got some combination of City and United in the top two, and most of us have Chelsea in third, except for optimistic Ola. But all right, interesting, and we'll start
Someone's
the season
gotta
next
be.
Friday. Yeah, well, I'm glad.
Any other crazy predictions, lads, for the season?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. We have. I wanted to know if there's just something that you just would, and Ola's already come out with one. I believe, which is that, was it Ola that said that? That Conte wasn't going to finish the season.
That Conte, yeah.
Lee, what's going to happen this season that no one would believe going in?
Arsenal win their first game of the season.
So you're willing to go about 1/7 of the way as far as Andy did.
I believe it's going to be shock horror. Arsenal win it. They'll win their first home game, So.
Don't worry, Lee. Everybody will be thinking we're going to win the league after we won the first game of the season.
Well, we'll be top. If we win, we'll be top.
So Friday after, if we tie, we'll be top too. If Friday afternoon, I'm not sure what shape I'll be in, but I'll be at the pub with my local boys here, and you guys are going to all be getting FaceTimes and Skypes, because I'm dying. I'm dying that I'm not going to be at the Tollington after the game with you guys or wherever you're going. But,
So I have a question for you boys. Lagazette, where do you think he's going to finish with goals this season? Do you think he'll be 10, 15, 20? 30? Where do you guys predict him finishing?
30?
25 is not an option, apparently. You talking all competitions, or he's not going to play in the Europa League, apparently. So.
Yeah, no. Let's just go with the league.
So in other words, for translation, last season when Walcott got 19, he actually only got 10 in the league. So
he only got 10 in the league.
That'll set your calibrate.
So
your system.
I'll just down to the service that he might be getting. if Ozil boxes idea up this season, I think Lacazette would do well in the region of 20 goals. I'd say he'd do 20 goals.
Okay. How many do you
20
have?
goals for
How many do you
20.
have? How many do you have for Lyon last season in the league?
Well,
I think it was
I'm
like
not sure in
25
the
or
league,
26.
I think something like that. But I think he had 37 on the loan last season. So I'd figure if he gets really good service, it should be in and around 20 goals.
So 20
with Xhaka and Ozil.
Lee, what do you think?
It depends what Wenger plays him. Where he plays him. If he plays him on the wing, then he ain't going to get
He
20.
freaking better play him up top.
Yeah, well,
he better play him up front. He's got the number 9 shirt.
Listen,
I love Giroud as much as the next guy, or probably more. But if Lacazette is accommodating Giroud in Wenger's lineup, then I don't even know what to tell you.
Well, you know, the way Wenger goes, he could be he could be a wing back. You know, you never know.
He and El Neni will be platooning in centre half.
I do intend to agree with Ola. If he plays him in his rightful position and the chances that we make, and I also believe that he will take the penalties because he did take the penalties for Leon as well.
Yeah,
I think that he'll get 19 goals there. Let's be a little bit controversial. So one shy.
Do you guys have the prices right over there?
Yeah.
Because you've just done
years ago.
You've just done the opposite of what you're supposed to do on The Price is Right. You just went one below Ola. But all right, Andy, how many goals?
I'm gonna go with 15.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'll say 15.
So I will go with 16.
You got the prices right over there.
It's closest without going over. So I've got 16, 17, and 18 all in my wheelhouse. So yeah, I mean let's hope it's more. But he's going to be the guy that after we win those first 7 games, if he's got 10 goals, then we know that it's going to be a hell of a year. All right, so we have a new segment, which whenever we debut new segments, they could either go horribly wrong or be parts of the regular podcast. But this segment...
Mike, can I preface something quick?
You always do.
Mike comes to me with probably 6 new segment ideas a week. All 6 get squashed really quick.
Do you understand how hard I work for this podcast?
This one is fucking genius.
Okay.
I love it.
All right. Well, then if it fails, you'll look stupid instead of me. All right. This segment is called "What's More Important Than the Arsenal?" Okay, and the segment basically is we're going to go around the table, the virtual table that we're all sitting at, and provide you with a typical life event, something that in the course of a year or a decade, you might experience once or twice, and you have to tell us whether it's more important to do that event, or specifically to watch or attend an Arsenal FA Cup final, like the one that we just had in May. Okay, so again, the question, and you can answer differently when with regards to watching versus attending, but it's the event that I'm going to name or an Arsenal FA Cup final. So we get to really know like kind of where your mind is at. Is that? Everybody understand the rules of this complicated game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're there.
All right, we'll start off with a couple family-related things. First of all, your kid is playing in a tournament final. Let's assume your kid plays football, because otherwise I'm not interested in your kid. At the same time as the FA Cup final. Ola, which do you do?
This actually happened in the last final we had. My son actually plays for Leicester City on the 10s, and it was the final game of the season for them. And my missus had to drive him to the game. And I was at Wembley, mate. It was well worth it.
Now, if you hadn't had a ticket, would you have gone to the game, or would you have been at home watching while your wife drove?
I would have found a way to get a ticket. They knew I was always going to go to the final.
Let's say you were living in the U.S. at the time.
Right. That's a whole different way of looking at it now. I probably wouldn't have been able to make the game because of the cost, etc. to get to the game. That would have had to override,
Yeah.
getting to the final, getting to Wembley. But if there was a free flight, maybe I've accumulated some air miles and stuff like that, I would have made it to Wembley.
All right, so Arsenal more important than your kids' tournament final. We got that.
Yeah.
I mean, mad respect for that. Lee, what would you do?
Well, I'm disgusted with Ola. I really am.
Lee, do you have kids?
Yeah. Like my boy plays football. He was at West Ham and South End, but I'll be sitting next to one at the cup final. Sorry about that.
All right, now Andy is a brand new father of 3 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are
Be
you
careful. Be careful.
I think I would be sitting next to Lee and Ola as well. And I will say that the cup final against Villa, my girls' team were playing in a tournament, and I had to get our matches moved. There was enough time for me to get to the pub to watch the game.
God.
And the tournament told me that only for a family funeral or wedding would they move it. So I had to make up that my brother was getting married. I have a brother. I swear to you, this is a true story.
My brother Olivier Giroud is getting married. Well, I actually like Ola. I actually did. I mean, now I didn't. I didn't have the opportunity to go to the game, but I did skip my son's tournament game last year. It wasn't a final, but it was a game in the tournament to watch the FA Cup final last year. I went to the others though, so I didn't feel so bad. But yeah, I would have skipped the final to attend the game, but not just watch on TV. He wasn't thrilled with me over that, but he understood because he's a Gooner.
I brought him back a flag and one of them scarves, and it was well happy when I got back.
So you had you had to bribe him.
This FA Cup, I had to sit in a car at a tournament. I don't know what happened, but the rains opened, and so Justin and I watched the Arsenal on my little iPhone win the FA Cup against Chelsea, which was brilliant.
Okay, good.
Wow.
Follow-up question. Attend FA Cup final at Wembley or be at hospital for the birth of your child? Lee.
Oof.
I'm glad I went to Lee first.
Who's me first?
Yeah, you're going first, mate. Be careful.
What got the FA Cup final then?
Attend the FA Cup final at Wembley or be at the hospital for the birth of your child.
Come on, the Arsenal. That's harsh. I would be at the cup final. I'll be at the cup final.
Seriously
at the cup final. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
I was just saying, like, don't have the epidural at the moment. Just keep on. Hold on now.
Yeah, clamp that thing closed for another couple of hours.
Yeah. Breathe gently. Like, I'll be there as soon as I can.
Tape those legs together. Tape those legs together.
Clamp it closed for 2 hours, 2.5 if it goes into extra time, please.
Yeah.
All right, Ola, now you're up. All right, so that's what you're going with, Lee? You're going with?
I'll be at the cup final.
All right, Lee.
I mean, if it was a Champions League final now, and we hadn't won that before, then I definitely would be at the Champions League final for that. But because we won the FA Cup so many times, I think I'll be opting to go to the hospital for the birth of my child, mate.
I appreciate the honesty. Yeah. That you're not so worried about your street cred in the Arsenal world. You're actually a family man. I like that.
I'm a family man. Yes.
That's excellent. Andy, speaking of family men.
Andy. I have to kind of echo Ola. If it was the Champions League final at Wembley, it makes it a really tough choice. But the question is, Mike, you said birth of your child. Which number child is it?
That was the key because you happen to know that in our WhatsApp group when we talked about this, if it's your first child, I'm going to I'm kind of jumping in front of you now, but the first child, I'm going to the hospital. Any other subsequent children, I'm going to Wembley. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, first child, you're there. Second, you're at Wembley.
Oh, you're supposed to love them the same, ain't you?
Yeah, but it's,
Oh, come on. They're not getting no fair crack of the whip from you guys.
You know though that the second
You
child,
know your second child's gonna hate you forever.
Look, my second child is Jake, my son, and he's all good. But you know, you just have to you have to just buy stuff for him, and he's not going to know that you weren't there.
Yeah. Well, he's not when the argument comes in with the missus and she's willing to grass you up.
Well, look. What I would do is I would go to the final, and then I would have. I'm going to talk about this guy later, but I'm going to have my friend Sebastian make me a Photoshop of me at the hospital so that my son never realizes that I wasn't there. So, all right.
Yeah,
so
that'll work.
We got a few more of these. I don't know if they're as good, but all right. This might be pretty easy then, based on our previous answers. Meet your fiance's parents for breakfast for the first time, or FA Cup final. Lee.
FA Cup.
All right. Andy couldn't wait to answer. Yeah, FA Cup final. All right, Lee. Lee's missing. Lee basically has told everyone in his life to just go away because he's.
Yeah.
We're just wasting Lee's time now.
Yeah, I just say, what a stupid time to ask me to meet him. Like, I'm not going. That's fine.
and he's no longer engaged.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, if we assume that's the end of the engagement, do you still make the same decision?
Yeah, that's the end of that.
Absolutely. All right. Can I just assume that all four of us are going to give the same answer to that one? Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right. And it's probably the same way, but watch the verdict announced on the president's treason trial. Guys, it's just a joke. Or the FA Cup final. Assuming you can't TiVo or anything like that. The FA Cup final. Lee, we know. Andy. Andy.
Yeah. Mike, I think a lot of these, we should have went in reverse order, because once you ask the birth of your first child, the rest of these is just.
I don't know. The next one is good. The next one's a little tough. So, all right. You guys watch women's soccer, women's football, especially like the U.S. national team. Are you aware of Alex Morgan and who she is?
Yeah, I was actually playing on FIFA. Yesterday.
I was going to say yes, yeah.
I was playing with myself yesterday. Right,
you lot got dirty mind.
So Alex Morgan of the U.S. women's national team finally gets around to offering you sex, but it's at the exact same time as the FA Cup final. What do you do, Ola? And
you come to me first.
Forget about like the impact on your family and all that. That just suspend reality for a second. It's just a choice between those two.
The choice between those two.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, it's gotta be the American football player.
Nice.
I have to say.
Yeah.
I love to say.
We finally.
I'm a red-blooded man.
So the two things he would miss the FA Cup final for are the birth of his child and then having an affair with some American football.
Oh, I don't know about
a real family man.
You said nothing about that, mate.
Okay. Forgot about that.
Trying to hang me up with my noose.
All right,
Come on now.
Andy.
Mike, I have a question for you. Is there a TV in the bedroom?
Can I answer that one?
No. No TV in the bedroom. You're gonna miss. You're gonna miss it, and you're gonna look at your phone, and it's gonna spoil the whole result for you to where you don't even want to watch it. One or the other.
I'm gonna go Alex Morgan.
Yeah. Okay. And Lee.
I'll do it as quickly as I can and get there for the second half.
That's not one of the options. And we know you'll do it. We know you'll do it as quickly as you can. That's not part of the question.
I was about to say, Lee, I'd be ready for kickoff.
I'll get there for a bye by me,
All right.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I don't even know. So I'm going. I'm at the cup final. There you go. Like that.
It's got to be consistent. Because if that's the first thing that makes you miss the cup final, then
that'd make me look bad, wouldn't it? Like that. So no cup final.
all right. And I have to go with Alex Morgan. I'm sorry, that's not an opportunity.
I'm
that
going to
comes
have to
up
Google this Alex Morgan. I'm going to have to let me Google her, see what it comes up like.
Yeah, let's Google it.
If you don't know who we're talking about, then we can't really.
Yeah,
respect
let's see
your
what
answer
your
to it.
reaction is.
Yeah. Well,
All right. In the meantime, while you're googling that, let's get over to your wife's emergency appendectomy surgery, or the FA Cup final. Somehow, because it's an emergency, there isn't an opportunity to schedule it for the Monday.
I've missed the cup final.
Your wife apparently just tuned in. Yeah.
Lee just moonwalked his way.
He just found out who Alex Morgan was.
Yeah.
All right, Ola.
Yeah.
Appendectomy or AP? I know which would be less painful, but it's your wife's emergency appendectomy or the FA Cup final.
Man, it's gonna be the appendectomy.
You better hope your wife doesn't listen to this podcast because of the delay.
I just told her I got 75 minutes on this, so.
Oh shit! Sorry.
I have to say the right things here, otherwise I'm in the doghouse, mate.
Yeah, actually, because we got a little while to go. Yeah, I'll go with the appendectomy because I value my continued family life. Andy.
Yeah, I'll have to also go with the wife.
Okay.
You make it sound so depressing, guys. Come on now.
All right, we got one more, and then a special question just for Andy. You're on your way to the FA Cup final, and you see your grandma on the side of the road with a flat tire. Do you keep driving, or do you stop to help her and miss at least the first half? Lee.
Did you say your grandma?
Yeah, not my grandma, your grandma.
I was going to say I'll drive right past your grandma. I don't know.
Unfortunately, my dear nan's dead, so I would be at the cup final, like, you know.
Well, both of mine are too, but let's just let's suspend reality.
Right. Well, I have to say that I love my nan to bits, so I would phone up my brother and make sure he got there. You know what I mean? I'd say, Darren, hurry up, Nan's got a punch you. Get your ass down here, like, you know what I mean? So, no, I'd have to help me dear Nan out.
There you go. You're only going to miss the first half, so you can do that.
Yeah, I'd only miss the first half.
You'll still be there for the interview after the game.
Yeah.
Ola.
Yeah, grandma's priceless, mate. So, yeah, it's gotta be no grandma.
All right, and
Andy, priceless.
Andy, did you? This question, by the way, was volunteered by our. Most of the questions were volunteered by your boy Justin, Andy, but Joey Murphy came up with this one. We love Joey. You met Joey, guys, at the Tolly after the game.
Oh yeah.
And,
I remember Joey.
But Andy, Justin asked a good question, which is, does she see you driving by?
Right.
So Andy, what do you do if you see your grandmother on the side of the road?
Yeah, I picture my nan, who was also passed, and I'd say you'd have to stop for her.
Yeah,
we have roadside assistance included in our car insurance, so I mean, I'm definitely getting on the phone and calling them and giving them the location. But I mean, miss the first half? Come on. Yeah, I'm actually I gotta go. I gotta go with the FA Cup on that one. But I will go out of my way to make sure she gets the help that she needs. So, and then the last one, which is just for Andy. Would you be focused and devoted to being with your wife and minutes-old son in the recovery room, or would you whip out your phone and turn on the Arsenal-Sunderland game?
Yeah, the thing here, Mike, is you have to have a wife who understands priorities in life.
And yours does.
And, I got to see Sanchez score the goal, so that was cool.
Yeah, this actually happened back in May.
Yeah, I remember Andy talking about that.
Yeah, no, the wife understood.
I would have been dead in that situation, so I got to give you props. My lovely wife is understanding. she goes along with the whole Arsenal thing, but I mean, she would not have been understanding of that. Especially, she would have been like, "Fucking Sunderland, they're getting relegated anyway."
To be fair to me, though, I mean, at that point
Let's be
after the
fair to
birth,
you.
it's kind of doctors, nurses, baby, mom. So I just kind of sat there, just wondering what to do.
So what better than to check out Jordan Pickford when your son's crying and they're cleaning all the afterbirth off of him? Jordan Pickford comes to mind. Well, I'd say that game worked out okay. Justin, Joey, thank you for coming up with those things. Ola, you got a few more minutes to spend with us?
Oh yeah. I've got time to spend with you.
All right, sweet. We got some user questions. We sent out the bat signal for user questions. We don't have listeners. We have users because our podcast is to be used, not listened to. And we got a bunch of them today. The first one is from, I never heard of this person before. She's relatively new. She goes by a Twitter handle of @GoonerGirl1969 or something like that. I never heard of her, but
Ooh.
she was originally supposed to join us today, but then her date got in the way, and then her date got ill, and so she's sitting at home waiting for us to put the podcast out. But I think she should remove the 19 part from her Twitter handle, but that's just me. So Princess Amanda, who will be joining us in 3 weeks after the Liverpool game on the podcast finally, has a question for the two of you lads. Lee, Amanda wants to know if you've washed your lucky pants for the new season. So Amanda asking you a question about your pants.
They're ironed, pressed, and ready to go.
Nice. Now, do they smell?
No, they're all right. They're quite clean.
Nice. I mean, now, how would Amanda know what your pants smell like? By the way, I mean, you got some explaining to do.
Well, we had a thing where we was in the pub one time. We said do you wear red pants? And I red pants or not pants, boxers that I use. And say if we win in say like one pair, I will wear them the next time.
That's normal. That's the lost in translation part where she says pants.
Mike does that with his thongs.
Well, I usually wear a condom during the Arsenal game, and if you do, just literally, it's prophylactically. And if we win, I put the same one back on for the next game. So.
Oh my God!
Jesus.
So I can understand that. Ola, Amanda wants to know if you are looking forward to sitting next to her next Friday and listening to her princess language. You got the lucky seat?
Yeah, I got the lucky seat, and it's been a long-awaited. Yes, it's been a long-awaited dream of mine, and it's finally coming.
Oh, I hope his wife don't listen. I'll tell you.
It's finally coming through. So
all right. So do you go to your wife's appendectomy, or do you go to the Leicester game and sit next to Amanda?
That's you guys are mean. I thought that section of past.
Gooners in USA ruining marriages since 2016. All right. Personally,
so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to sitting next to Amanda.
Nice.
For the whole of the game, and looking forward to it.
Again, jealousy on my part. I don't care what language she used. Personally, I could listen to her with that accent just calling me a perverted douchebag for 90 minutes and still go home happy. But that...
Yeah, Amanda's special. She's a special lady. Special lady. Yeah. So,
Personally, I think I need to see a psychologist immediately after we're done here, but that's a different story. All right, next question. Andy, you got this one?
Yeah, I do. So we'll do a quick answer. So yes or no. Gooner Dub, who is at Johan Thorin 4, first time submitting a question.
John Anthony R4. What the hell is
No, that's Johan.
No, it's not. It's John Anthony R4.
No, that's Johan Thor Jr. 4.
You are...
It's Johan Thorn Jr. the 4th.
Okay, well, sorry, Gooner Dub. No one's going to be able to find you now.
First time submitting question, I believe, which is great.
Last
if
time.
Arsenal finish 5th or worse, will Arsene be sacked? Mike.
No way. I mean, maybe if it's 8th or worse, but I mean, if he finishes 8th or worse, he might or anywhere outside of Europe, I think he might resign, not resign, but resign, but just out of pride if he has any left. But no, I don't think he's fired or sacked unless they finish completely outside of 8th, and that's not going to happen. So no, I don't. I think he's here for the duration of his tournament. Lee.
I honestly believe if we got relegated, he wouldn't get sacked to get a new contract. So definitely, no. Whatever happens, nothing. Wherever they come.
Great, Ola.
Yeah, I think we're unanimous on this one. I don't think he'll get sacked. Even after them giving him the new 2-year contract, they were actually putting it out there that this may not even be his last contract. So,
they're already setting the stage for the next one.
They already said exactly.
So this year Alexis will ruin our season with the uncertainty. Then next season we get to have Arsene do it all over again.
Yep.
Here's a question for Lee. Would you miss the FA Cup if you get to sit in a room with Arsene and fire him?
Oh, I know he would. I know he would.
Oh.
And then make him have an appendectomy.
All right.
Do you know what? Like, I wouldn't want to. I still, part of me still likes Arsene Wenger as a, but I think that for the sake of for Arsenal football, for the sake of Arsenal Football Club, I would miss the FA Cup final and sack him.
All right, so Tokyo.
I'm doing it for all the fellow Gooners out there.
There you go. You're nothing if not a man of the people.
Tokyo, did the world a favor.
Exactly. Tokyo Gooner, who I did some research, and I think that he's from Japan. He asks, which of the following 2 things do you think will finally happen this season? This is interesting. 1, Coquelin scores for the first time. And Tokyo, you've got to rephrase that. Coquelin breaks his duck. Or Petr Cech finally stops a penalty. Ola.
For the sake of my mate Tom, because I know he's wanted to see Coquelin score for such a long time.
Me too.
So I think I'd go with Coquelin scoring a screamer before Cech actually saves a penalty. I don't even think Cech can save a penalty. Every time you see, he doesn't look like he's getting near any kind of penalty. So Coquelin looks more likely to score.
Let's assume that goal will come against Lincoln in the FA Cup 3rd round. But yeah, okay. Lee, what do you think?
I think
Coquelin duck or Cech save?
I think you've got more chance of Coquelin scoring. I think than. He don't get nowhere near a bloody penalty save, does he? Would it? Would he die?
2-0
nowhere near it.
Just dive, man. You know what I mean? You never know. You know what I mean?
2-0 to Spurs. Ericsson with the goal now. They're beating Juventus comprehensively.
Cracking goal from Ericsson as well. I have to say.
Hate to see it, but sorry to step on you, Lee. There, but yeah. Okay, so two for Cech. I'm surprised by this. Andy, what do you think?
It's October 1st. Arsenal playing Brighton. Brighton are winning 1-0. It's Arsenal's 7th game of the season. There's a penalty to Brighton. Cech steps up and saves it. Off the save, we go down and we score. We stay unbeaten for the first 7 matches.
Oh, that's huge.
That's an ideal world, isn't it?
Now for me, it depends on whether it counts as a save. If the dude just hits it into Rosette. I mean,
no, it's got.
It has to be headed goalwards, and then Cech gets his hands on it or foot on it. Or something.
Cech has to put part of his body on it.
Okay, in that case, I'm going with Coquelin. I was going to go with Cech if it counted because at some point someone was going to pull a what was the team I predict? Oh, Manchester United was going to sky it over the bar, and they did a couple weeks ago. But yeah, if he actually physically has to save it. Some goalkeepers, they're so good at seeing where some penalty takers are so good at seeing where the goalkeeper's going that they can actually adjust and pick a side based on that. Cech does the opposite of that. He sees what way they're going and then just dives the opposite direction. So yeah, I think it's going to be Coquelin. It's going to be Coquelin. Not that I want him to start any games, but if he does start, I think he'll score.
All right. Next
Yeah.
question. Jack Armstrong has one serious question and one off the wall question I'm not asking.
I'm going to ask it.
Do you believe we've made enough changes to the squad, staff, and tactics to have a shot at the league this year? I'll go to Ola first.
I don't think we've done enough. I think we still have a lot to do. I'm happy with a couple of the stuff that we've done in the background, bringing the guy in from Australia, James Lehman. But obviously, we still want Declaw and out of the way, and we need somebody else to. We want
Slap
someone
that
else
dick
to
out of
handle.
the way, man.
We want someone else to handle the contracts of the club. So, but on the pitch, we definitely need more personnel. We need more players to be able to sustain any kind of challenge. Any kind of improved challenge on what we did last season. So, yeah, we still got quite a way to go, but we'll see if the club does it.
Lee, I think we kind of know your answer based on previous discussions to this question. Andy, same thing. I mean,
yeah, I'm the same. I guess Lee, we'll kind of morph this question to you because we know your answer. What does Arsenal need to do between now and the transfer window closing to have a shot at winning the season or winning the Premier League? Excuse me.
I think you just offered Lee the chance to do that 5 minutes ago.
Well, no,
Sarcasm
but
Wenger.
Exactly.
outside, realistically, because we know that's not going to happen. So realistically, what do we have to do in the transfer window to put us over the line and compete?
I think that to compete, I think we need a real top class central defender. I would go out and get Van Dijk if I was manager. I'd spend a lot of money on him, and also or someone of that ilk. And an enforcer of a midfield player, someone that's going to break up play. I watched that Insomnia last week, for Sevilla. He would be ideal sort of player for us, just breaking up.
Is that
play.
the guy that isn't able to fall asleep at night? Just say
I
insomnia.
don't know. yeah. I think say like that. Inzonzi, is that his name or whatever? Like he's
Nzozi, yeah. He used to play for Stoke, didn't he?
I love as much trouble as Andy has pronouncing players' names. I love listening to League, like with Mapapi and Insomnia. I mean, I love it.
What is his name? I don't really know. But he looks a really good player. Or someone like William Carvalho, with someone like of that ilk, someone we need that's just going to sit in front of the back three if we're going to play that back three and break things up. That would be the two players that I would look to go and get. And I think if we did go and get those two players, we'd have a fighting chance of challenge, at least putting in what I would say a sufficient challenge. At this moment in time, we're just making up the numbers of the Premier League. But two big signings like that, and I really do think that we could be really challenging for the title.
I actually think our squad could challenge for the title. I think our staff hasn't been improved enough, although I love the Jens Lehmann move. The tactics are the issue. Not only the tactics, because Wenger's still in charge of tactics, and even though he's made the change of three at the back, I don't trust him to come up with tactical changes during the game on the fly the way you need to. But the fourth thing is man management and motivation. And frankly, I think that's where our biggest shortfall was last season in making sure that those players were prepared for everything that could happen in that game. And so I don't think we have a shot at competing for the title this season, but I hope that we're wrong. And Jack's second question, I'm going to ask and answer it very, very quickly. This is driving Andy crazy, but the question is, you hate Theo, you hate Humber. Therefore, who wins in a WWE old school cage match between the two? And he wants a blow-by-blow. So I'll take that question. Humber wins. It's not even close. Have you noticed what's happening with Humber, guys? I mean, I've been talking about Humber for about 8 months now.
Yeah.
Are you still a fan of Humber, or are you starting to turn against him, Ola?
Well,
That wasn't
I like
a
dogs.
serious question.
I like dogs, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to be switching on the dog.
I like dogs, but Humber's a bitch, man. I mean, when I started railing on Humber, look, I love animals. I'm not promoting doing anything wrong to him. I'm just
Don't be doing Stan Kroenke here, you know.
No. So we got enough of that. When I started railing on him, everyone was still all over Alexis, begging him to stay, making him dog banners, and now people are kind of starting to see some of that impact that Humber's having on him. All the agitating and the teasing with the badge kissing and all that. It's all Humber. It's 100% Humber.
Yep.
And just don't say I didn't warn you. So in Neymar's deal that he just finished, his dad made out financially like a bandit. In Alexis's case, when he finally goes, it's going to be Humber sitting on stacks and stacks of dollars. Mark my words. So, I hate Humber, but I never said he was a loser. He would absolutely kill Theo in a cage match. Theo's bailing out, open goal missing, coffee machine ass would go down in like 3 seconds. So Humber wins that match, and we move on to the next question, which is specifically for Andy. This is our final question from Nacho the Gooner. And I sent this to you in case you wanted to prepare something, but
I didn't see it.
Okay, well, not Nacho the Gooner, who is interestingly named one of our top Twitter interactors. You've heard of Fuck, Marry, Kill, the game, haven't you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So here's his Fuck, Marry, Kill: Theo Walcott, Jack Wilshere, and me. This is where I find out where I really stand.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Mike, this is pretty fucked itself.
Yeah, be careful, Andy.
Yeah, I don't wish death on Theo. I just wish he played for another football team.
But do you wish death on Jack or me?
No, I love Jack.
I shouldn't have. I love Jack.
I love Jack. He's one of my favorite players. He truly is. Like, I absolutely wish him nothing but just like pure health, so he could be our Tony Adams. I have an England kit with his name on it. I have a few Arsenal kits with his name on it. Like, he's one of my favorite all-time players. So, and Mike, I've seen your wife, so you're clearly doing something right, whether you're hung like a horse or got that fat bank account. So I might have to marry you.
That's what I was hoping.
That's way out of your league,
Oh, there's no question about that. I locked that shit in early when I was young and thin and.
Thank you for the questions from everyone. They were
You're
they
not
were a
going to
lot
answer
of fun.
the rest of that?
No, pass. Hard pass. All right.
Can I ask a quick one?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, is that all right? It's not football related though, so this is just a quick.
This podcast
round
is
the
only
table.
tangentially football related anyway. So,
McGregor Mayweather, who wins?
Oh shit! You asked the right guy in Andy because he loves.
I love both boxing and UFC, so I'm gonna go to this first. Mayweather wins in 12 rounds. I give McGregor probably 2 or 3 that he'll win. But Mayweather's the greatest of all time. He won't get hit.
Can't go 12 rounds.
It'll go 12.
I think it'll go 12 rounds.
Mayweather doesn't have the knockout power anymore. His hands are too weak.
Tmayweather's always goes 12 rounds, but McGregor, man, I mean, he could barely go 15 minutes, much less.
Now he's turned
36.
Now he's turned into a beast this last couple months. He'll go 12. He'll be tired. I think he'll bust his ass for the first 6 to try and get a knockout. You can never say never, right? But
you gotta give him a puncher's.
You do, and whoever, if he lands his left, people usually go down. But
yeah,
Mayweather has not been hit outside of 6 times in a career that's 49 wins. So Mayweather in 12.
Well, if the judges are anything like that Pacquiao fight I saw a couple of weeks ago, then maybe McGregor ends up getting the win because dude came out and just tried to kill Pacquiao in the first 5 rounds. Just completely blew himself out and held on for the last 7 rounds, and then got an overwhelming win for some goddamn reason.
They said the guy is
go ahead.
A school teacher or something like that. The guy that had the fight with Pacquiao. It's supposed to be like a school teacher or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That was messed up.
His students learned a lesson in corruption on that day.
What do you think, judges?
Definitely Mayweather. Definitely about 5 rounds, I think.
I tend to think that's probably more. I'm going to go with Lee on that one. I know Mayweather doesn't knock people out, but at some point, McGregor's going to leave himself open because he's getting tired, and it's gonna hit him.
This is why there won't be a knockout, because the fight is going to be about 150, but Mayweather will go into that fight probably close to that number. McGregor will go in at about 175, 180. And so
I don't think there'll be a knockout, but there could be a TKO.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it goes 12.
All right, and this is where the podcast goes completely off the rails. All right, so we're gonna.
Okay.
This is the first week of our picks for this season. Andy won last season's picks. Very disputed thing. We're changing it up a little this year. We're going to do 3 games a week instead of 5, so that we have more time for this amazing MMA discussion. So let's whip through the picks. Basically, the way it's going to work is we're going to name the game. I will give my pick first because I've decided that I'm going to go first for the first half of the season, and then Andy's going to go first for the second. And by the way, Andy, I'm meeting your lawyer, doctor buddy Eric, in the next few days, hopefully, when I'm in Chicago. And let's just say by the end of the week he's going to be representing me and not you in my civil actions against you. So, the first game is Liverpool at Watford. I am going to go 0-0. Liverpool's got some instability with the whole Coutinho thing going on, and Lana apparently got hurt in the last game, and they haven't necessarily signed the Ox yet. So I see them kind of getting a little hangover at the beginning of the season and dropping some points. Andy, what do you think?
I'm going to go 4-0 Liverpool.
So you disagree? All right, and we're gonna, because we only have one guest spot, we're gonna alternate and then make you guys physically agree on the other one. So Ola, we're gonna force you to agree. So Ola, Liverpool at Watford, that's all yours.
I'm gonna go for a Liverpool win. I think Liverpool will have too much for Watford. 2-0.
2-0. Nice. Okay. Second game, Tottenham at Newcastle, which I can't believe because Newcastle went out of the Premier League, sicking a 5-1 win on Tottenham, and now their first fixture back is the same one as the last one. So I'm going to go 5-1 to Tottenham in this one, with Sissoko getting a brace against his old team, despite not even making the bench in the starting lineup. So if that could happen, that's what I'm going with. 5-1 to Tottenham, because apparently they're good enough to beat Juve 2-0. Newcastle's got no chance. Andy.
Yeah, I don't see Tottenham losing here, so I'm going to go 3-1 Tottenham.
All right, and Lee, this is your game.
Yes, I'll agree with Andy there. 2-1 to Tottenham.
2-1 to Tottenham. All right, and the last game, of course, always Arsenal. Arsenal against Leicester City, the game where you guys will all be talking crap about me because I'm not there. I'm going to go positive with this one, actually. I think we win 3-1 and break the hoodoo of the opening game of the last few years. I'm not going to go so far as to say we're going to win the first 7, but I'll talk about next Friday. And like I said, I think Leicester's going to get relegated this season, and we're going to start them on their way. So 3-1 to the Arsenal. Andy.
I'm going to go 3-0 to the Arsenal. I think Lacazette, Sanchez, and Xhaka score goals.
That was an unintentional bell right there. Sorry. Nice. Okay. And Lee and Ola, you guys are going to have to come to a mutual agreement on this. Otherwise, I will be seen as favoring one of you. So let's hear this thought process.
I'll take a draw on the first day, as long as it's not a loss. I'll take a 1. I'll take a 1-0.
But you're gonna have to convince Lee of that, because you guys got to come up with a pick that you both.
Yeah,
agree
Lee.
on.
So where you going with it? How do you see the game panning out?
I would say, like, I'm a bit like heart says 2-1, but head does say 1-1. So I can't wish Arsenal to draw.
Yeah. So should we go with a 2-1 win?
Just go for a 2-1, shall we?
We'll go for the
There we
2-1
go.
win. Arsenal fans will go for the 2-1 win.
You know
2-1 win to Arsenal.
What I love about the two of you is that took 15 seconds. Like if it was Andy and I on another podcast being asked to do the same thing, there would be like 4 more hours of arguing. So that was beautiful right there. Thank you. So that's about it, guys. A couple final thoughts. We talk at the end of the podcast about people from new countries that are listening to us, and we've added one in the last couple weeks. Country number 91 to tune into this podcast is Morocco, and we all know who that is. Anyone want to shout out who our new listener is, Andy?
Thank you, Shamak.
Yes, Shamak has finally returned home, tail between legs from his stellar football career, and just spends his time listening to Gooners in the USA now. So we're getting dangerously close to 100, and I think we promised that we would go to the country that was the 100th country. So I'm going to find some way that it turns out to be like Atlanta or something like that.
Is Atlanta a country?
It will be when they as soon as we get to that point. So we don't often do shout-outs on this podcast, but I mentioned this before. I got to give a general shout-out to our listeners overall because we've really started to identify a core of listeners that interacts with us on Twitter and, just gets the podcast, and I absolutely love it. A couple, dozen folks probably that do that, but I got to recognize one in specific. His name, I think, is Sebastian Vrod, and he has the Twitter handle at SebbyV21, SEBBY V21. This guy is a wizard with whatever software he uses, Photoshop or meme create, whatever it is that creates funny as hell pictures. He's been making me laugh hysterically for weeks now. And, I mean, we're just be going back and forth on Twitter about some ridiculous scenario, and out of nowhere, a picture of that scenario just appears on Twitter, and it's friggin' hilarious.
I'm going to check him out.
Oh, look on our timeline or his, one way or the other, and I'll try to retweet some of these out. But my favorite was a week ago. Our friend Chaz Nuki Burden, who writes for 442 and Telegraph, he's been on our podcast a couple times, and he just, out of nowhere, he posted some old-timey black and white photo of this huge crowd of people waiting outside Highbury from 1938. And I made some, like, Mike is old wisecrack about how if you look carefully, you'll see me in the back of the line. And out of nowhere, this picture pops up on my timeline. It's the exact same picture, except somehow he had lifted my son Jake and I holding up the Arsenal crest and the Feinberg sign at Monday Night Raw from a couple of weeks ago. And he had spliced it into that picture so that we were standing in the back of the line. And I mean, literally woke up in the morning at 6 o'clock. I think the guy lives in New York. I woke up at 6 o'clock, checked my Twitter timeline, and saw that picture, and freaking set me off on a hilarious day. I mean, that was brilliant. And the other one, we hypothesized that the Emirates might be pulling out of the shirt sponsorship because of the whole hunting channel thing, and that Wendy's might be the logical replacement. And out of nowhere, we get this picture of a new Arsenal kit that basically looks like a hamburger. I mean, the kit has like lettuce and bacon and all that on it. Is brilliant. So we love the interaction from the listeners. I mean, the fact that you guys take time out of your day to do stuff like that makes us laugh. Please keep it coming. And he also left us a nice review on iTunes. So speaking of which, if you're listening on iTunes, please review and comment on the podcast. If you're in the growing number of people who grab our show off of YouTube or SoundCloud, which we got a little bit of a late start on, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave comments. Love to hear it from you. But just enjoy the show. We love doing it every week for you guys and girls. And I'm talking to you two women that listen to our podcast. And, it's just been fun. And we're looking forward to the season to come. Lee, let us know how we can find you online. Remind me again, the 40 different ways that we can find your content.
You can always find me on Lee Mark Judges and, of course, on the Same Old Arsenal. And also the Gooner Talk as well, which I do as well. So they're the ones that... And, of course, you guys now as well. So I'll always listen to you. So
love having you on. Appreciate you coming
Cheers,
back.
Lee. Thank you very much. Looking forward to meeting you next Friday.
Okay. Look forward to it, Andy. And thanks, guys.
And Ola.
Cheers, mate.
Ola,
I'll talk to you soon.
Tell us again about your YouTube channel.
Yes. You can find me on Capital Scorpions TV on YouTube. I'm also a regular on the Gooner Talk TV. I work with these guys week in, week out. And you'll find me on Twitter as well on at Black Scorpion 3. At Black Scorpion 3, you'll find me on there. Is BLAK, not the C. BLAK Scorpions 3.
You can find you can find me on White Pisces 12. No, yeah, that's fantastic.
A white Taurus.
There you go. Ola, it's been a pleasure. We will have you on again very, very soon.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me on. It's been a wonderful evening, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh, our pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Have a great week, guys. Travel safely, Andy. Next time we'll be talking to each other. We'll be from London.
Yeah, Andy, I'll be seeing you next week.
Yes, I'm excited to meet you too.
And make sure you keep that sofa available.
Oh, it's absolutely open. Talk to you soon, boys.
All right,
buddy.
Have a great week. Come on, you Gooners.
Bye-bye. Come on, Gooners. Bye.
All right, I got to turn this off now.